good morning, and welcome to another edition of For Now, the Leo G Show. I am one of your hosts, Leo G. Man, I'm here. We're doing this is new for us. Getting up early in the morning and putting out some content and talking about some Atlanta sports. Before I get too far off, I gotta always kick it over to my co-host, man. I'm gonna kick it over to my man over there on the south side, man. My man Banks, what's going on this morning, brother?
How you feeling? How you feeling? What's going on, Leo? What's going on, Derek Cole?
What's cracking?
Man, it's early in the morning. Yeah, what's up to my man Derek Cole out down the east? What's going on, brother?
Hey man, like you said, man, I can hear the roosters crowing out there so early this morning. But it's all
Hey
good.
man, hey, sometimes you gotta get it how you live it, man. You gotta get in
That's
there
what I'm
and we
talking
gotta throw
about.
stuff out there when we can.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why I got the shades on this morning.
Absolutely,
I want
man.
y'all to see those sleepy eyes.
Them long nights. I know how it is. I know how you like to do it, man. I know how Banks like to do it too, man. But we up, we early. We got a few things to talk about. And before we get started, you know how we always do it. We're gonna do a fit check and drink check, and then we'll take care of some business, and we'll be off into the show. So Banks, I'm hand it over to you, man. Again, just it's the AM, man. So let everybody know what you got on, and let everybody know what you're drinking early in the morning.
Hey man, I'm just wearing probably my best, my favorite away kit from Atlanta United, the gold and white. You see it. Nothing really too big and fancy, anything like that. Something that I'll enjoy to wear and that I love to wear. And even though they don't wear it no more, I still rock it. And since this early morning, I'm just doing some OJ, fellas. Sorry, not sorry, but it's too early to be drinking. So
You ain't put no AU in there.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is straight OJ.
All right, man. We're gonna hand it on over to Derrico, man. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Leo? Baby Banks. Hey man, I'm just rocking this FAMU bucket hat that I got from a street vendor last year. So I'm rocking that in my FAMU baseball jersey because I'm feeling HBCU-ish today. I really ain't feeling Atlanta sports right now, so I'm just gonna go with the HBCU. We'll talk about Atlanta sports a little more for me when we get right that training camp time. But right now, I ain't drinking nothing. Just going to let you know that. I usually would drink an espresso, but by the time I brought it down here, it would have been cold, so I ain't getting it. But I do got something um I want to feature today since I went up there to Montreal, Canada. So I brought this lot 40 back. It's a what is this? A 1% rye. This is something like Leo like. So Leo, I got a bottle. This your bottle right here, cause mine back there on display. This your bottle right here that I brought back for you. So here you go, lot 40. It's a cool 43% alcohol volume, which Leo, you can multiply that. What they're gonna give you, that'll give you about 92% proof.
Something like that. It's too early in the morning to be doing math, man.
Yeah. Oh, you don't want to use that noggin?
Nah, it's too early.
Calculate
Like I
that.
said, too early in the morning, man. I ain't woke up quite yet, man. I'm still on vacay mode, man. It's a done deal, man. It's about to be over. It was a lovely vacation. Obviously, last week we talked on the show with Banks about going out there to the Devil's Butt Crack out there in Phoenix to see the Bravos out there, man. So we're gonna do some more track. Hey, look, fellas, I'm glad I didn't hop on the plane, man, because yesterday was kind of crazy with that travel. Banks. I don't know if you had to feel it out there, but yeah.
Well, no, it happened as soon as I was getting off of work. So I missed it. And hopefully they get this stuff taken care of by the time I go back to work. So I'm hearing they having issues out there as we speak.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. So shout out to all our people, man. Traveling this weekend, man. Just pack your patience if you're trying to travel. All our people that work in the industry as well, man. Pack y'all patience too, because you know it's. I've been doing this thing for a long time, working in the travel industry, man, and so has Banks. And we can tell you, man, sometimes it could be a booger bear. And Derek Cole, you travel enough too, so you know how it is. Sometimes we got to pack your patience, man. So
Absolutely. And don't forget about we workers, we white collar workers that use computers. I'm still looking at a blue screen over there right now at my work computer, so I can't even get on. So
Hey
we gotta.
man, it is what it is, man.
Hey, it
Shout
was
out
a first
crowd
day
strike.
yesterday, so we'll see.
Shout out crowd strike, boy. Somebody, ooh boy, I don't know what happened with them, but yeah, I guess we'll hear about it in the upcoming days here, man. So not to go too far off into the weeds on that. For me, I guess it was HBCU day as well. For me, man, I just put on my adopted HBCU stuff, man. I got my Golden Tigers, man, TU. You know what I'm saying? Got my Tuskegee shirt on, man. It's the first thing I could grab rolling up out of bed early in the morning as we do the show. And for me, I'm not drinking. Well, actually, the best part of waking up, man, I got Folgers in my cup, I guess. Trying to still wake up, man.
Hey
Can't do
man,
it
you old
too
enough to
early,
know
man.
about Folgers?
Man, come on, dog. You know, I ain't gonna catch you, but you already know.
Hey, that's a fact.
And so listen, shout out to Derek also, man, up there in Canada, man, bringing something back, man. You know, you always be on the lookout, man. That's one thing I can't, you know, I talk bad about you all the time, but I can't say that you don't ever be on the lookout. So man, shout out to you, man. We'll link up and we'll get that together, man. So all right, man. Listen, before we get off and start talking about this thing, man, we are still, fellas, I guess, trying to rebrand this thing. We're going to eventually rebrand. I guess people saying, man, y'all ain't about it, man. We're gonna get this thing together, man. We got a few things that we got thrown out, a few things that we're working on. I don't know if Derek still gonna put his money in the pot, but we're still taking suggestions from anybody out there, man, that has some ideas for a new show name for the rebranding, man. Y'all see the ticker below. Hit us up, the leogshow@gmail.com if you got any ideas. I check it regularly, people, so it's not like, you know, it's going to go over our head. So we'll know. And also you can reach us out on all the social media platforms as well as we get this thing off, man. Hopefully by the fall, by the time we get all these sports kind of connected and intertwined with football, the baseball playoffs and basketball to crank back up, man. We'll have this rebrand thing going on, man, and we'll get it kicked off, man, and we'll do it big on one of the episodes, man. So look, fellas, we're gonna talk a little Atlanta sports. Derek said he wasn't really feeling Atlanta sports right now. We'll talk about a little something this morning. Don't know how long we'll go, but we got a couple of things that we want to talk about, man. One thing pretty cool in particular that we'll talk about in the second half, and that's with the WNBA. But first off, we want to talk about Atlanta United. As we record this show, Atlanta United has a match today down at Mercedes-Benz against Columbus Crew. But there's been a lot of, I don't know what I can say, Derek, man. It's just been a lot surrounding.
I'm gonna say it
right now.
since you don't want to say it. I'm gonna say it. It's early in the morning. I'm feeling froggy. There's a lot of bitching and moaning. That's what it's been. A lot of bitching and moaning.
Okay, a lot of bitching and moaning, him and hawing, whatever you want to say about this team, man. So Banks, you know, I know you keep up with it as much as you can, but I think it's safe to say, man, this team, this is obviously the worst start in the history of this franchise. And a lot of people aren't happy, including us as fans, man. I don't know what's going on with this team, man, but I think it's safe to say, Banks, man, this is not the expectation and the standard that we're used to with that Atlanta United team, correct?
Well, that's absolutely correct. I mean, we saw this coming. You know, we mentioned a scenario where everything's not going to be peaches and rainbows. You know, we're not going to be on top all the way. We're not going to always be rowdy and proud and having a waiting list out the door trying to get in the Mercedes Benz. So it's dark times, and here we are. You know,
eight seasons in, I think 8 years in, if I'm not mistaken, man. Right now in the East, we sit at 12, well below the playoff line right now. I mean, we're gonna have to have some, I don't know, a real big push if we want to try to make the playoffs, man. Obviously, we're way far from the shield as well, something that has eluded Atlanta United since they've been in existence. Is the supporter shield. But right now in the Eastern Conference, man, we are, like I said, currently sitting at 12th. Dropped the game on Wednesday night to NYCFC. Well, we actually drew, but we had a two goal lead, and that's been kind of the theme of this team. Is just like not being able to finish, man. And you know, it's very frustrating, fellas, as we all know watching sports, man. One of the things that we always look and we're kind of prideful of is like, hey, you got to finish. Atlanta United was a team when they first started out, man. I think, Derek, you were one of the most proudest people as when they first got here to Atlanta, how they like finish teams off and they close things out. Right now, they're not doing that, right?
I just don't get it. It's like I don't know. It's like, is it a lapse in mentality or tired legs, or you just get comfortable out there on the pitch when you're up 2-0, and then all of a sudden, bam, the issues hit the fan, and then you down. Well, not down. Well, I'll say you were down. Whenever you tie the game like that, that's a loss. That's not a tie. That's not a split the points. That's an L for me. When you up 2-0 at home, at home, where you've been miserable at home, and you up 2-0, you are supposed to finish. I was gonna say something else, but I'm gonna keep it P13 today.
Yeah, it's early in the morning. Yeah, absolutely, man. I totally agree. You got to finish these things out. I mean, it's been a lot of inconsistency here, man. But there's no excuse, man. He's still a major league soccer club, and you got to go out there perform and such, and continue to compete. Obviously, coaching change. Rob Valentino now under the helm, and then we've got to the summer transfer window, and we'll talk about that here. Losing players. We've lost a couple of players, and we all know when you lose players and bring other players in, you lose some continuity, some rhythm. You got to start meshing and gelling with other people now to kind of get this thing rolling toward the back half of the season. Especially you got the tournament coming in with Liga Mex. That'll start up here in just a moment. But you got to finish out strong, Banks. I'm going to pass it over to you here. One of the first players that I want to talk about that we lost here was Thiago Almada. Thiago Almada was a really big linchpin for this team, man. Very good young talent out of Argentina. He came in basically on fire. He kind of carried this team, man. After the loss of some of the big names we had, like Joseph and Miguel Almiron, he came in and asserted himself right in there and kind of put the team on his back for a while. He didn't really have a lot of help, scored a lot of goals, and he was, like I said, pretty much the face of the franchise here over the last couple of seasons. He's now going over to he's going down to Brazil, won a MLS record transfer deal going down to Brazil to a team called Botafogo in Rio, who also has ties to Olympica in France, League One team. So it's kind of like, you know, a stepping stone. He'll go down and play with Botafogo, and then he'll eventually probably get called up to the French League One team. Derek, I'm gonna pass it over to you here, man. Thiago Almada, like how big was he while he was here, man? And trying to find somebody to replace him at that DP position, man. Atlanta United is gonna have to dig pretty deep in the crates, right, to kind of find somebody to replace somebody like Thiago, right?
Well, I think the big thing with Almada, he was a big name. I'll say that for sure. I ain't gonna say he was as consistent as he could have been. I don't know what it was. I don't even know if they used him properly, because I think for the talent that he had, for me, he should have been more involved and stopped looking like it was more one-on-one as opposed to creating stuff for other people. And I think that's probably one of the things that I noticed with how they was using Almada. Sometimes he'd be out there looking like a one-trick pony instead of looking like a united team. Like, let's say the combination of Joseph and Almiron. Like, why couldn't it be where we had him in that Almiron, I guess, position where he would feed the nine, which we don't have right now, right? We don't have nobody that can a striker. We don't have a bona fide striker on the team right now, and I think that's been
they got a
makeshift
kind of team.
Yeah. So, but I think with him being gone, there's no leadership, and I think he provided leadership just because he was on a national stage. So, he will be missed, and I don't know this new guy that they're bringing in. So I guess you'll talk about him, but I don't know if he's going to be the one that's supposed to fulfill that role in Thiago Almada's absence.
So actually, yeah, I'll talk about him in just a minute. He's replacing somebody else. We'll just move on into that. So we also lost another player during the transfer window, a homegrown player, which I'm really, really sad to see go. We've had a couple of great homegrown players since the inception of this team that we knew eventually they would move on to bigger and better things. So I'm very, very proud. The first homegrown that we lost was George Bello. He went over to Germany. He was a very, very good player while he was here. did a lot of amazing things, you know, as a 16, 17-year-old kid. That you're asked to do playing against grown men in the league. And you knew that eventually with them being so young in their youth that they would move on to the European stage where, you know, it's bigger money, bigger exposure. And that's kind of where they were and what they wanted to do. So now Caleb Wiley, who was another homegrown here, man, 17. Well, you know, I called him grown man. Derek, me and you had a conversation at the game not too long ago as to how he looked playing out against, you know, the competition. And he's going to be moving on. He's going to be playing for the USA Olympic team over here in Paris in a couple of weeks. So shout out to him for that. But he will not be joining Atlanta United once he comes back. He'll be going over to Strasbourg to play for them in the transfer. Strasbourg, if I'm not mistaken, is a Chelsea affiliate over in the EPL. Yeah. So he'll be getting his feet wet over there and hoping to look into a transition to play for eventually Chelsea for the EPL. Derek Caleb Wiley, man, we're gonna lose a good one on the wing, man. He was really, really just coming in. I mean, and I guess it's right for the pick, and this is a good time for other teams to come here and just, you know, steal him because he's actually ready to play on the big boy stage, right?
What Banks was just telling you, since you said really, 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 like a lot of times you had to take a sip of that coffee that you're drinking. He was trying to give you a hint. Oh, can I back up 1 second? Because we didn't talk about the transfer money that we got for Almada, which was another record. It seems like we keep getting record transfer fees and transferring a lot of our homegrown players. So what are we doing to make sure that we can replenish these players? I'm glad that we're setting them up for success in their career, but how does that help us in the short term and long term if we're not utilizing that money correctly? So we got like almost 23 to 30, up to $30 million for Almada. What are we going to do with that money? Like, that's the question that everybody's asking. What are we going to do with that money? So I think at this point we got it. If that's how we're going to set up this franchise, and we're creating space for people to grow into another league, then we need to make sure we got a plan to replace them and spend that money wisely. But as far as Caleb, yes, I actually like Caleb. Like you say, homegrown kid, tough kid, and I wish him much success. And Atlanta United really is going to miss him because he was a key part of this organization from the start.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, definitely somebody that we watch grow. Banks, you watched him as well, probably grow a little bit in his role at wing over there, and you know, came up through the academy. And as funny you should mention that, Derek, with the academy, these kids coming through. Now we're going to see like where the talent level is and bringing players up. Hopefully here in the future, we can bring on, of course, Reggie or Kurt to come in and talk about a little bit about the academy and how, you know, we bring up these homegrown players and also the money and what we do after it's been allocated. You know, we got the transfer money. Soccer is one of these just things that is kind of a weird deal because you have to figure out exactly how, you know, MLS is a cap league. So now it's how do you spend the money? Where do you spend the money? And then you got, you know, of course, the designated player slots. So it's a lot involved and a lot of moving pieces. Of course, when we talk about the MLS, we do have a designated player spot now available after we just lost Almada. So it'll be interesting to see what Gareth and the crew will do over there with Atlanta United. I don't know. You know, hey, I think they're going to compete and try to fight this thing out for the rest of the season. That's all they can do. And then we'll look into next season and see what we can do. I mean, like I said, Derek, that's all we can do is fight it out. That's it. But before we move on to the next topic, so we did actually sign another player to actually, and this guy I think is going to move into the position to kind of where Caleb was, Pedro Almodovar that we signed. I think he came over from Portugal, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I have to do a little more research, but he will be available today against the Columbus Crew. So he's going to move into that position to play wing. I don't know if he'll actually get the start today or not. I'm not for sure. This lineup, he'll be available, but this lineup, man, it's hard to keep up with, guys. Like, because of the players that we're losing. You know, we lost Giakoumakis, we lost Almada, we lost Caleb. You know, and you know, during the international kind of, you know, when we had the Copa America, we had, you know, Saba, you know, he left for a minute. We brought some other people in. Now we got Daniel Rios was playing up in the front. It's very, very hard to kind of follow losing a lot of these players and a lot of the movement that's going on. So I don't know. Hopefully we get back to having a set squad and understanding and knowing the roles of these players. And then also we're gonna be looking for a new coach as well. Rob has came in and been the interim coach twice now. So don't know if they'll be looking at him on a permanent basis, but I'm assuming that they're probably looking at coaches elsewhere, probably down in South America or over in Europe. Who knows? I think if I know Atlanta United, like I know Atlanta United, they'll be looking for a big name coach probably out of South America or somewhere over in Europe. So we'll just have to wait and see how that works out, man. But before we close this thing out with Atlanta United, I do want to say a couple of things about the fans, and I just want to put my 2 cents in, and I'm pretty sure Derico would like to kind of piggyback on what I'm about to say. Listen, guys, we've been doing Atlanta sports for a while. All 3 of us, man, we support all the teams here, man. We have really, really dug in with Atlanta United. Don't get it twisted, man. We're not flash in the pan fans. We've dug in hard and bunkered down with Atlanta United. And like Banks said earlier, we knew that there were going to be days like this to come. This is not the end. This is only a transition period that all sports teams go through. So if you're going to be a fan of Atlanta United, be a fan of Atlanta United and see this thing through. I'll be there today to watch them play the Crew. I'll be there to tailgate with Footy Mob. Shout out Footy Mob. But it's tough. I not get it, especially when you are invested, your time and also financially. There are a lot of emotions that go into that. And a lot of people have knee-jerk reactions and they say things off the cuff, especially when the team is performing well. But look, this is going to happen, and by no means, do I want to, push anybody, or say anything negatively. But all I'm saying is to the fan base, to the loyal fan base of Atlanta United, man, stick through this thing, man. And I'm trust the process that the people that are in position to get this thing together and turned around will do right by the organization. But you got to stick in there. And I say that because there was so much positivity when this team first came, almost to a point where, some of the fans, not all, looked down on other fan groups in this city of other teams about their loyalty and about sticking with their teams. So, good or bad, you got to stick with the team. Some people said what they said. I'm not, I don't have there are some receipts out there, but I'm just saying to the fan base of Atlanta United, I'm a part of that fan base myself, and I'm talking to myself, stick with it, see where it's going to go. Right now, it's some hard times. Derico, you want to comment on that, man, before we move on to the next segment?
Yeah, you being overly nice today and generous. You know me, I don't care about feelings. I hurt them, smash them. Y'all need to stop being some little witches. That's what y'all being, some little witches. Like Leo said, like Banks will tell you, we like Atlanta sports. We love Atlanta sports. We just don't choose one team to root for. So when we root for a team, we root for the team till the end. We don't play, hey, they're losing, so I want to jump ship. No, that's not how it works. If you say that you're a fan of a squad, a team, then you be a fan all the way. All the way. Stop playing this little front runner game. That's our favorite word for people that jump ship when the ship is starting to drift to the side or sink. You good when it's up, but when it's starting to sink, you're a front runner. That's exactly what you are, a front runner. So stop playing
straight
that
to the
front runner
lifeboat.
game.
Straight to the lifeboat.
Let me say something
Go
about
ahead,
that.
Banks.
Fellas, I've been sitting back, listening, and observing. Listen, and you talking about the fans here in Atlanta, and we got a lot of big chunk of people that's not from Atlanta, and we all know that. But you also have a big chunk of local people who, quote unquote, Grady babies and Northside babies and Piedmont babies and all that good stuff. And we're talking mainly to you guys because you guys was born on this soil. You was born knowing about 285 and the varsity hot dogs and Piedmont Park. You know all about that living. When you talk about Braves and Hawks and Falcons and Dream and United and they're not doing too well, and you want to claim your allegiance to another team, the sake of the fact to say, I'm pulling for a winner. And that's a lot of people in this city. And that really irks me. Like if you're from Detroit or if you're from New York or if you're from California, I mean, I understand. I get it. I get it. I totally get it. But you know what the caveat is? I know people that's not from here that will pull for Atlanta sports because they live here. And that's the difference. I have a friend of mine who lives in Dallas, Texas. He is a Dallas, Texas fan. He loves the Mavericks. He loves the Cowboys. He loves the Stars. He loves the Rangers. But when he lives here, he pulls for the Atlanta team. Why? I don't know. I guess he feels like he pays taxes here. I don't know. He feel like he got a rooted interest. But at the same time, if he can do it, I know everybody can do it. If we were
Yeah.
some happen to win a championship, guys, and we seen it with the Braves, we got Braves fans everywhere. Everywhere. Every state got a Braves fan. That ain't just because, you know, the TBS, because they was shown everywhere. It was because of success. World Series in 95, World Series in 2021. Now you can't turn your TV on without seeing a away game of Braves and there's nothing but Braves fans chopping in that stadium. Unbelievable. But how does that work? Winning championships. It will happen with the Hawks. It will happen with the Falcons. It will happen with United. So all I say is stick with it. Stick with it if it's not looking too good. If we don't have a championship in that trophy case, are you going to just sit back and twirl your thumbs until we get it? That's what we're talking about, because there's a lot of you all out there, and I shudder to really want to call names out because I see you every single day. Every single day. Like, how do you do
Call
that?
them out, dog. Call them.
Listen here, bro. I got a
If you see
timeline on
them,
my
point
Facebook
them out.
page. You know what I'm saying? And all I see is people claiming allegiance to other teams when the getting is good. But let the Hawks or the Falcons or the Braves just fall on hard times multiple years, and I don't F with them. I don't F with them. Oh, you don't come around when they win, because that's when I get upset, and that's when I'm gonna call you out. Because I remember names, I remember faces, and I keep receipts. So that's just how it is.
Oh, trust me, he
Hey,
keep
man.
receipts.
He keep the receipts. You can go all the way back and check it. He keep them. He keep them. We know that for a fact. Yeah. So, you know, just to piggyback on that, you know, if you're gonna ride with us, ride with us. Ride with the ATL. You know, and I'm gonna say, you know, I guess Derek will want to say I'm playing radio PC, whatever he want to say. I'm being nice today, but listen, everybody's situation is different, and I get it. You know, and some of this doesn't apply to some people, but like Banks said, some of you front runners, and I want to say that, yeah. And if I make you mad when I say it, so be it. If I strike a nerve, it is what it is. You know, being a front runner, man, is not cool, especially when you want to put true loyal fans on blast. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Front running is not cool. You know, you can front run all you want to, just don't put me as a loyal fan on blast. That's all I'm gonna tell you. But if you want to front run and go out here and buy you a jersey every year for your new team, you know, and like Banks said, when the getting is good, you want to come back home, that's fine. But don't you know, when the chips are down with the Falcons, and you know what I'm saying, you want to clown me, and you just put on your brand new Kansas City Chiefs jersey, and you want to talk about, oh, the Falcons sorry, and this, that, and the third, and I see where you just pulled the tag off that Mahomes jersey, you know, yeah. That's what we talking about. That's what we talking about. And I got receipts as well. You know what I'm saying? I got screenshots and everything. So, but we're not gonna go there, man. That's whoo. Don't get me started. See, Derek, I'm about to get riding, man. We got another topic to talk about.
That's what we are. Rowdy and proud. Rowdy and proud, man. Down in the South. Yes, sir.
Man, shout out to our viewers, man. A couple of viewers. Got your cuz on, man. I see that Derek O, man. He rocking with us, man. Just definitely wanted to shout him out, man. And everybody else that's rocking with us early this morning.
I take pride in the fact that I didn't have to choose my team.
Right. You know what, Banks? You just said something right there. And I want to veer to the right, to the left. in the middle, one. That's the thing that I appreciate about us. We could have woke up one morning and just said, you know what? I see the Cowgirls on TV all the time. I see Pittsburgh on TV all the time. I see the Yankees on TV all the time. I see the Lakers on TV all the time. And that's pretty much how most people that don't like Atlanta teams chose their teams. They chose their teams because they felt that they could be a part of a winner, so to speak. But still, I mean, this is your city, rep your city. If you're from Atlanta, around Atlanta, Georgia, I mean, I know people that has never went to an out-of-state game for their team. Like if you live in Dallas, or you root for Dallas, let's just say you root for Dallas, and you live in, let's say, South Carolina, I'm calling my boy out. You got to fly all the way to Dallas just to say that you root for your team. Most of the time, a Dallas fan is a Lakers fan, is a Yankees fan. You see the pattern here?
And a Duke fan.
And Ohio
yeah,
State
yeah.
fan.
You know what I'm saying? Like they all over the world with this fanhood. Like, how are you a fan of a team in 15 different states? I just don't get that. That's one of my biggest gripes with these front runners is that your allegiance is not to the team that you're from, but a team that is elsewhere in the state that you probably never ever see unless they come to Atlanta, and then you want to pull out your jersey and say, "Oh, I'm rooting for this team because they in Atlanta, and it's the only time I can see it." Let me stop, because y'all about to make me get this boiled egg going.
Can I say something? I'm about to really make you upset, Derico. I just got a question for you, Leo, and Derico. I got a question for both of y'all. If you can remember, or currently, do you know where the Patriot fans are? I know this is out of left field. I understand. I understand it's a question. It just hit me. I'm like, I haven't seen a Patriot fan. Like, where are they?
You
like,
talking about
they were so just 3-4 years ago, they were everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere. Everybody was a Patriot fan.
Yeah, you see,
where are
you
they?
talking about since Tom Terrific left?
I don't know. That's what
what you saying?
what the reason was? Was that the reason
front
why
runners.
they're not wearing their Patriot jerseys and telling me that they've always been a Patriot fan?
Front runners.
And I want to know. I still haven't got a answer for one of those same Patriot fans or who was a quarterback before Tom Brady. Like I still, they get stumbling. That's irrelevant. You know, it's relevant. It's very relevant. You got to know you're a big fan of them.
Yeah, Banks, you probably can ask them who the quarterback was after Tom Brady. They probably can't answer.
And they probably ain't gonna. They ain't gonna know. They not. And the thing is, man, you know, I get it, man. Some people have these Hallmark made for TV movie stories about how they became fans of teams, and you know, I you know, just and I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. And look, all three of us can sit up here and tell you that we're fans of players outside of Atlanta. Okay, I'm the first person to sit up here and tell you I have a lot of players that I'm fans of outside of the Atlanta organizations that play all over the league, right? NFL, NBA, hell, even in the MLS. Derico dogged me out, called me a fanboy or somebody, but I'm going to digress. Listen, that's no matter how big of a fan I am of a player for another team, my allegiance is still to my team. At the end of the day, I'm putting on Atlanta everything. I'm putting on Atlanta everything. I guess we got to remind everybody, it's ATL versus everybody at the end of the day. Of course, yeah, I'm a fan of players. You know, I've watched Aaron Rodgers' career. Been a big fan of Aaron Rodgers. I'm not a Green Bay or a Jets fan. I'm not. I'm an ATL fan. When Aaron Rodgers step foot in Mercedes-Benz, guess what? He want to take this L. Take this L. Just like Derico just said, I'm a Messi fan. I've watched Messi ever since his Barcelona days. There's nothing wrong with that. But you know what I'm saying? When it comes down to the end of the day, when Miami plays Atlanta United, when they put them on, when they go for, I'm all in on Atlanta. I'm all in on Atlanta. And I think that all of us have favorite players on other teams, but at the end of the day, Atlanta is where we are, where we're gonna root for all day, every day, and that's what we're gonna do. So this whole thing, a notion about like Tom Brady was my favorite player. So okay, I get it. So next year, Mahomes is gonna be your favorite player, and then after that, somebody else will be your favorite player. Just say you're a fan of players. Don't say you're a fan of a team. I'd rather for you to tell me, hey, I like Tom Brady. So don't just say like Banks said, oh, I'm a Patriot fan. I've been a Patriot fan. No. You're a Tom Brady. You were a Tom Brady fan. You were a Tom Brady fan. And I can respect that. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Kobe fan. I'm a LeBron fan. I respect that. But look, we're going to move on. We'll come back to it if we need to, fellas. Listen, got one more topic to talk about that's pretty cool, man. WNBA All-Star Weekend in a full effect going out there in hot Phoenix, Arizona, where I just came from. Shout out to Phoenix, man, because they went all out. They went all out, man. We was out there. We saw the banners. We saw the signs and everything hosting the NBA All-Star game, which is sold out today, be coming on, I think, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We just had the skills challenge. So here we go, fellas. Something really, really cool last night. I said really, really again. So if you want to take a sip of your drink, your OJ, or whatever the case may be, but got a shout out to the ATL. Got a shout out to the ATL, fellas, because we had a full suite of the WNBA skills challenge on last night, man. So got a shout out to Alicia Gray, who won the Kia. She won the Kia skills challenge, and she also won the Star 3-point contest last night, man. How cool is that, Derek Cody? We got a sweep out there for the WNBA skills challenge, man, with the ATL Dream.
Oh, that's always good. Like, I was happy. And she just as cool as a other side of the pillow. And I'm going to steal that shout out to Stuart Scott. That's how I went back and looked at some of her stuff, and I appreciate Alicia Gray. She is I don't know, man. She's just a nice chick, and she deserved that last night, man, to bring that home for ATL. And I know she rep ATL hard, and that's the thing about it. She just soft-spoken, quiet, but she went out and handled her business last night. So the first person to ever do it on the same event, she won both skill challenges last night. Shout out to Alicia Gray, the Atlanta Dream. ATL influences everything.
Man, Banks, how cool was that, man? See Alicia Gray go out and pull off the sweep for the ATL, man.
Man, look at Alicia Gray out there putting ATL on the map. I see you, girl. Let me tell you something. I was so proud to see that news, man. I was like, out of all the ladies that's doing in this league in WNBA, hats off to you, But only thing, no disrespect, that we keep hearing is one or two players. And hold on. My thing is, if you're not doing well, you're not being mentioned. And then I say that to bring up Atlanta Dream. No one talks about the players on the Dream. No one even mentions their name. And it's like they're irrelevant. But I know they ball. I know they hoop. Yeah, they record don't say it, but I think they got a lot of injuries on that squad. But for once to see somebody on that stage compete and take it all, it made me proud. It's like, you know what? We got some hoopers here in the A2. I mean, you got the, people in our own city don't even know who Atlanta Dream is. And that's, I guess, that kind of covers what we were saying on the last segment about front running. But I mean, kudos to her, man. I'm so happy for her.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said,
I
man,
want to say you said something, Banks. We got some hoopers on that team. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why it's not gelling. I don't want to say nothing, but I just say we got too much talent on that squad to not be winning consistently. So we need to look at something because something ain't right. I looked at that squad. I looked at the roster. I looked at their history as far as players. I mean, we got some talent on that team, and we should not be a subpar team in the WNBA.
It's frustrating because you see the talent is there, and then you start looking like, is it the coach? I mean, what is it? Like, what is it that the Atlanta Dream cannot get consistent winning? Like, they'll go out there and they'll beat, a Connecticut Sun, or they'll go out there and give Las Vegas Aces a run for their money, but then they'll turn around and lose to the Dallas Wings, or they'll lose to the LA Sparks. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, how do you be that inconsistent? You just can't. It's got to come together soon or some way. And you got to start pointing the fingers up higher ups, because it ain't the players.
No, yeah, I mean, that's the only way that you're gonna point. It's gonna be a new coach coming in there, to get it right, man. So we'll definitely continue to take a look at the Atlanta Dream, man, and we'll feature them a little more, because I'm very intrigued now, especially with Alicia doing what she did. I've been, following them, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been following them from afar, so I need to kind of get back into it. But hey, it is what it is. We'll do what we do. So listen, Derek, I want to take it over you, and then we'll talk to you, of course, about it, Banks. Got the game coming on tonight. Kind of an unusual deal, right? We got the WNBA All-Stars facing the United States women's basketball team. I don't know who came up with that concept or how that actually worked. And we'll go over a couple of names that are on the rosters for both of those teams. Derek, are you a fan of this? This is not a format that we're used to seeing when it comes to an All-Star game, right?
Yeah, I mean, how you pit the WNBA players versus the USA women's team, basically, which is made up of WNBA players mostly, if not all. So I don't get that part. I guess that's almost like when MLS tried that soccer All-Star game where they pitted MLS against South American team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a fan of it per se. I mean, if it's the WNBA All-Star game, let it be the WNBA All-Star game. You basically are playing against the same players. So why separate it and name it differently when it is what it is? So I'm not a fan of it just for namesake, but the players, they're the same players as in the WNBA. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's some marketing ploy. I don't know. Maybe it's something to hype up the U.S. women's basketball. I don't know. I just don't get it. I'm dumbfounded about it, to be honest with you. But I can tell you this: that U.S. A squad is tough. It's going to be a tough out for the WNBA tonight, All Stars, because that USA squad is built strong and built to last. So we'll see what's going to happen tonight. But I'm rooting for the USA. Asia gonna go off.
Banks, I'm gonna hit it over to you, man. How do you feel about this format that we have with the WNBA All Stars versus the United States Women's National Team?
I'm gonna piggyback on what Derrico just said. I mean, you putting the players against each other. Is this? I don't know how they picked the USA team. Was it did they randomly pick the players, or they pick the best players? I mean, my thing is, if you're gonna do that, and then you're gonna play them against your own players that you play in the league, it's kind of a we're better than you kind of syndrome. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong, but I wouldn't put them against the players they see right after this All-Star weekend is over. Like, it just don't make any sense to me. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be one female on that WNBA All-Star team gonna be like, you know what? They think they're better than us, and it's the animosity. You don't need that in your league. You already got a person that you're trying to put the face of your league, and you got people feeling some type of way. I see this every day, Leo, working. They actually got a charter plane that comes in on our shift, whenever they come and play Atlanta United, or if Atlanta United, excuse me, Atlanta Dream, or if Atlanta Dream is leaving, we have to take care of that. And that's for once, a long time coming. But the fact is that you see them when they traveling, they just look like, I don't know. I can't describe it, man. It's like I really feel that they shouldn't pin these ladies against each other. I think this is where they need to come together. And I think, what the WNBA is doing is they trying to find the beyond the face. You know, they try to make a god. You know, somebody that they want to worship the ground that she walks on. I I feel like it shouldn't be, separated that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said. I mean, usually, most formats we see East versus West, or something to that factor. I don't know if it's because this is a Olympic year and they put the national team together. They thought it would be a cool idea to kind of do this. I know you got a lot of veteran players. Yeah, well, you got veteran players on both teams. Obviously, I think the Indiana Fever have the most on the WNBA All Star. I think they have 3, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, some of the names: Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese is going to be representing Chicago. Sky, you got Kayla McBride with Minnesota. Also, Alicia Gray is going to be representing our Atlanta Dream on the WNBA side. If you look at the women's national team side, you got a bunch of players that have been playing for a while. Kalia Cooper, Brittany Griner, Aja Wilson, like Derrico just said, man. So, I would like to do a deeper dive in to see how this all just came about with the separation between the women's national team and the WNBA All-Stars. Maybe we can look at that in the future and see how that came about. Obviously, we'll talk a little Olympics here in the next coming weeks. So we'll see how the women's team does, and we'll also see how the men's team does. And we'll talk about some Olympics, fellas. It's only come around every 4 years, so there's something that we get to talk about coming up here on the next show. We'll talk about some Olympics and what we're looking forward to with that. But NBA All-Star Weekend, man, should be fun out there in Phoenix. I'm gonna tune into the game tonight, check it out, and see how that's gonna all transpire, man. I think that's gonna be fun. So definitely check that out. I will be down at Mercedes-Benz today. Don't know how this weather's gonna be. Like I said, if we're gonna tailgate, I'll be there. Normal place, man. Shout out Footy Mob, like I said, once again. See, like I said, hey, gotta roll with the punches, man. I'll be down there to see them play the Crew. I don't know how this thing gonna work, but I'll be in the building to see what happens, man. You just never know, right? Banks, before we close this thing out, let everybody know where they can find you at, brother.
Find me at Antoine Jarrell Banks on Facebook or Baby Banks 80 on Instagram. Don't know what's going on with Twitter or X or whatever they call that platform these days, but you know what? I'm not going to be a part of it. Find me on Instagram, people. Find me on Facebook. I'm there, and hit me up.
All right, man. Over to Derrico, man. Let everybody know where they can find you. Let everybody know
And
how they can get at you.
You can find me on Facebook at Stacy D Derrico. You can find me on the Twitter at VSU96SDD. You can find me on IG at Derrico_Virgo. And you can find me on the Snap at DJ K-Ro6.
The Snap.
I think that's it. Yeah, I think
that's Thanos, the Snap.
Snap.
It's all good.
Yes,
hey, listen.
sir.
But now you can always catch the show, the Leo G Show, the number one on the X, the Twitter, whatever you want to call it these days. You can also find me out here in these X or Twitter streets, Southern Set, that's Southern Set with 2 T's. That's my personal Twitter address. You can holler at me there. You can also holler, if you're still on Facebook, you can holler at us on our Facebook page. For now, it's the Leo G Show. Also, still looking for somebody to help us out with the rebrand. So hit us up, the Leo G Show at gmail.com. Once again, that's the Leo G Show at gmail.com. So we're definitely going to make that happen. Definitely going to listen. It was early, fellas. I want to shout out to everybody that jumped on, man, with us. We had quite a few viewers this morning, man, on YouTube. Shout out our YouTube followers, and shout out everybody that watched us on Facebook Live as well, as we talk Atlanta sports. And we're going to continue to talk Atlanta sports and do this thing in a unique fans perspective like we usually do, man. So fellas, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and we'll be back. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe we get up and do some more morning shows, man. We'll have to talk about this, man. And see if we can get up and do some more morning shows. So we'll see how it all pan out, fellas. It's been another edition for now of the Leo G Show, and we are definitely going to be back with you with some more content. All right.